Alright, we're back here again. We've got the final drawing. You're going to notice there's basically two different sketches on this. One of them is the actual dimensions. Those are the dimensions that I brought back in that he laid out, and 22 foot 10 and 3/4 is exactly what it came up on the computer. So I did read the tape measure correctly, which is always a plus. And then we have the actual shade cell dimensions, which is going to have a stretch factor, which is essentially we've reduced all the dimensions by 3% to allow that to stretch. Now, if you have provided us the dimensions and they did not have the rope, as we had gone over that, and you just pulled it from the attachment points, you're going to see some additional dimensions on there for the hardware as far as the shackle and the turnbuckle. But we had the shackles and the turnbuckles already up when we took these, so we did not have to reduce anything more than just for the 3%. So that's how that works. We would send this out to you if there were any other little discrepancies as far as the dimension. We would show you what dimension we would like to have you double check just to make sure that something isn't off. But again, if the attachment points are up and you're measuring with that, more often than not, these are going to be right on from what you send us, and we are very good about double checking. So now we'll go to the shop and start laying this out and getting it sewn together. Alright, so the first thing we do is we start off with a very large blanket, try to get it tight, and then we're going to go through as far as laying the cross sections out to make sure that what we're laying out is square on the fabric. We'll go over how we make the deductions real quick, and this will be kind of the entire process, but we'll speed it up a little bit for you, and then the next step is to actually get it in the sewing machine. So here we go. Alright, here's 4 of our employees laying this out, putting the concave in the material. It takes about a half hour on the smaller sails, and it can take up to 45 minutes to an hour on a bigger sail. Next step is going to the cutting table, where we'll cut the fabric to the rough final dimensions, and then we'll finish it off with the pockets for the cable, and then adding the D-rings and the reinforced corners. Alright, the next step is sewing the reinforced straps. This is 2-inch nylon webbing, which has a tensile strength of 12,000 pounds, and to give you an idea, seatbelt webbing has tensile strength of 5,000 pounds, so it's incredibly strong. And in addition to the webbing, we've got the additional layers of fabric sewn over the top of it. Alright, so once we get our strap sewn, then the D-rings are sewn on. And again, you'll notice the D-ring is slotted to allow the cable to go through it. So again, everything is tensioned evenly. Alright, next step, cutting out the reinforced corner fabric. This will be sewn on the bottom side of the material. And once this is completed, then it's sewing these on, which is quite time consuming, as you can see. And now the last step to the corners is sewing the strap with a D-ring on it. And again, this is what makes the difference between a custom fabricated sail that's designed for superior strength versus what you're going to find on a .com. And the last step of sewing the sail together is going to be the pockets to put the cable in it. Once we have the pocket sewn, the last step is putting the stainless steel cable. This is a perimeter cable that goes continuous throughout all 4 sides or 3 sides of a 3-point sail. And it doesn't matter what corner you're pulling from, it's still going to stretch all 4 sides of or 3 sides of your shade sail. And in order to do this, we actually have to hand pull the sail out to the larger dimension to get it to what it's going to end up as once it's installed. And that's to ensure that there's enough cable in there to make sure it's installed properly. And the last step is putting the wire nuts on, connecting the cables together, and this is also making up the whip corner.